the Movies, a podcast where we rant about films you may have seen at house parties. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and using rocks as stepping stones to defy gravity is my co-host and master of none, Kira.
I can't even walk on flat ground.
It's true. I can vouch for that, but that doesn't detract from the fact that that is the single stupidest thing in this film.
It really is. It's like, oh, you're done so well. And it wasn't even like, we'll allow it.
No, I won't allow it. No, that was stupid. Everything else I'm fine with. Like, you could be a superpowered person, but like, you can't jump on rocks that are thrown when they're in mid-air.
Yeah, it got a little bit like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In a movie that wasn't Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like, if it had been kind of like that the whole way through.
Yeah, but it's just the only thing that's like that.
One aspect of it, it's really bizarre, and I'm like, yeah, okay, no.
Just no.
How about now?
But otherwise, a really fun film.
Yes, I think this rounds out our trifecta of films that either end too abruptly or...
Well, yeah, we said when we covered first Daybreakers and then Legion that there was 3 films from around the same time that all wrapped up really quickly. But on rewatch, this didn't wrap up quickly. It's just really fucking short. Yeah,
it's an incredibly short film, but they really were banking on a sequel and then this flopped horrendously, so bye-bye went the sequel.
But I mean, sequel aside, this film could still do with being a bit longer.
Yeah, because I think it's 90 minutes?
Not even. It's...
Ooh.
Yeah.
So by the time it starts, it stops.
It's like an hour and...
It's like a Ryanair flight.
Hour and 22 including credits. So, pretty short.
Yeah, that is actually really short. They pack a lot into it, though.
They do, yeah. And there's a few things that I wouldn't mind having fleshed out, and it's one of the few films where I'm like, no, take the time to flesh it out, as opposed to...
Or go back and give us more of the world, because the world in this is fully realised.
I wouldn't say fully. That's where I want the extra time. Like, but I really like the world.
And the mechanics of the world as well, which I quite like. So it's like I want to go back and explore more of this alternate reality timeline. Yeah, because this is from the same director as Legion, and where Legion had really good characters. It's set in
just set in the
reality.
diner, and there isn't. Well, it's just set really mostly in that diner, and there's no greater world to the film.
No, it is.
Whereas this is almost the reverse. There's a much bigger world to the film, and the characters aren't as well developed.
Yeah, they're kind of almost like in Bunraku, the way it's the gunfighter, the samurai.
They don't really need to be for this. I don't mean it. It's not a super negative thing, like, because you don't need a massive development of characters because it is set in this larger world. But I just thought it was interesting that it had kind of...
Also, I think they may have possibly blown their budget a wee bit on Christopher Plummer.
He's only in it for like 5 minutes.
I know, but John Malkovich and...
New Chronicles. Well, I mean, no, in fairness, the cast is actually pretty damn good.
Cast is really, really good. We actually have not mentioned what the movie is.
No, but it's in the title, as it always is. It's Priest.
Yes.
But
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany,
go
really
check
good.
it out. Yeah, no, Paul Bettany is an unbelievably good action actor.
He is, yeah. No, I don't think he gets it. Because Vision, he doesn't really...
I love him as Vision, but
he doesn't
Vision,
do much
I think...
As a action.
Yeah, Vision really reminds me of when he's the orator in A Knight's Tale. And he's doing all the big speeches and riling up the crowd, and it's all wordplay. That's what Vision reminds me of. It's very much that side of him. But he's a really good action actor.
Yeah, no, he's really good in this, and he's really good in Legion as well. Like.
Yeah, like the most actiony thing I think, apart from like the Avengers stuff, would have been
Da Vinci Code, isn't he? Like
the Da Vinci Code.
He's the assassin monk thing.
Yeah, with all his sliches.
This is what now?
Is
this a fashion thing?
No, they are used for self-flagellation. So they're belts essentially that can be worn on part of the body. They're generally worn on the thighs under clothing, and they have the little like hooks.
Oh right.
So you would tighten it up. It's a self-flagellation, self-punishment thing. They're called sliches.
All right, fair enough. So not it was, an uncooked fish salsa thing.
No, that's a ceviche. No, that's a drink.
No, that is ceviche.
Ceviche, no. They were used quite a lot. There you get a lot of like of this uber orthodox, not orthodox, like these weird kind of breakaway sects that go in for the whole like punishment. Yeah. And that it's a very commonly used thing in that.
No self-flagellation in this though.
No.
Despite all the priesty and clergy and
stuff.
They
talk about vow celibacy, and as she said, for some their sacrifice is greater than most.
I like that side of it. That's one of the things that I think is slightly better developed is the idea of like the priests and stuff.
Oh, this entirely like theocratic society that is completely domineering.
Yeah, no, there's a few small things about that I really like. But before we get into them, shall we go for our usual summary?
Yeah.
On an alternate Earth, humans have spent eons locked in a losing battle with vampires. But when humanity was at its weakest, the priests appeared and turned the tide of war. Years after the war, a priest on the trail of his missing niece discovers the vampire threat might still be present and worse than ever.
Yeah, also, priests appearing and saving the world.
There's a great line, because there's the animated opening sequence, which I will go back to, but you have this animated opening sequence, and it tells you all about the...
I love the fact that the animated opening sequence came about because the studio went, we're not paying for you to do that live action.
That would have been cool, live action.
Yeah, it's very similar to the start of Night Watch when they have the altercation on the bridge.
Yeah. It very much reminds me of that. But no, you get this opening, and then it's like the priests were like disbanded and you know, kind of tried to society.
We made these people into like the ultimate fighting machines. They did their thing, and now we're ashamed of them.
But there's a bit very early on where they're trying to show that like the priests are still kind of apart from society, and normal civilians don't. No, but normal civilians are afraid of them and think they're weird or whatever.
But they're also a reminder of the vampire threat, and they're quite happy to live in their little like horrible fucking industrial dystopian future.
But, no, just that one
and the
bit.
priests are this reminder of the fact that there was this great war and vampires, and they don't want to think about that because the church keeps telling them they're safe.
It's all great stuff and it's all great world building, but the only thing that I would have mentioned is that bit where he's in the lift and the little kid's looking at him and is like, ooh, what's that? And the mom's like, shut up, it's tattoo. And he's like, did it hurt? And she's like, come on, and drags the kid out of the elevator, and the kid's like, oh, but I wanted to know. And the mom just goes, we don't talk to priests. And I'm like, that's the best advice that kid's going to get ever.
Well, it's better than when we told our friend's daughter that priests can't cross running water. Yeah, but I love the tattoo. I really like the forehead tattoo. It's very crusade-y.
Oh yeah, and I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, everything to like the costume design in this is beautiful. The robes that the priests wear.
No, it is. It's
there's a lot of Asian influence in the overall design of the priest's garb. It's very shaman monkey. I also like that it's navy blue.
Yes, it's a very, 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 very dark blue.
But it's not priest black.
But
but no, the whole thing that ninjas used to wear dark blue because it fades. You actually blend in better than black.
Well, ninjas wore whatever ninjas needed to wear. They wore black in
if they were like.
No, that comes from the whole tradition of representing them in theatre.
Yeah, the shadow theatre. They wear a navy blue, a really dark blue because it fades in better, I think.
Well, no, they're in, I can't remember the type of theatre that they'd have it in, but you'd have like stagehands who wore like black morph suits and they'd move bits of the stage around. But occasionally, when there was a ninja in the plot, one of those people who were just background would come out of nowhere and stab a character. And that was the whole thing. Was like, so it was like the ninja
theater.
I think so, yeah. So it was like the ninja appearing out of nowhere and stabbing somebody, and that just translated into us always viewing ninjas as the guys in all black with the robes and stuff like that, because that's what the stagehands in kabuki theater looked like.
Yeah, whereas they probably just looked like
nothing to do with the film at all.
No, yeah, because it would make sense that assassins would just look like a regular guy. He's just some guy, you know?
Yeah, he did dress as for the occasion.
No, but the robes are very like Shaolin monk when you see them with like the hand wraps and everything, the big hoods. I want the big hooded thing.
The film is based on a Korean graphic novel.
Yeah.
That very much is a kind of horror, dark western, cyberpunky, dystopian future style comic book.
Yeah.
So I think it drew on that.
No, and it makes sense, because it could be very jarring because you have this super industrial city that just looks like absolute misery.
Oh God, it does.
It's dark, it's gloomy. Anything that's in any way bright is some sort of religious icon.
Yeah, and it's less neons and more of just fluorescence.
Yeah,
and white
it's like
lights.
It's like Blade Runner: The Depressed Years.
Yeah, it's Blade Runner or it's Mega City 1 with all the colour sucked out of it.
Yeah, if emos were in charge of decorating, like it really is. Only there's less skulls because it really just feels horrible and oppressive, and it's got that whole. You know, the lower down you go in it, the worse it gets.
And
the big towering monolith in the middle is the church. And then, like, why is it with the fucking fire, like, burning off coal? Because I'm assuming it's supposed to be some sort of industrial revolution. I know he said one of them talks about getting a job shoveling coal in the furnaces because that's the only job they can get.
I think in looking up notes and stuff like that, what I discovered was that the graphic novel is absolutely fucking nothing like the film. It's about like fallen angels and their souls getting trapped and all sorts of mad stuff. It sounds cool, but the director stated that this was supposed to be set in the far future of the comic book series.
Okay.
And that, then when I copped that, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense as to because you know when they go out into the desert and they're charging their bikes, they're by like ruined skyscrapers and stuff like that. And
I was like, there's some parts of it like
the animated opening doesn't really
give you a timeline for when this happens, this vampire emergence.
Yeah, but you can see it goes through stages of, you know, like analogues to our history. There's medieval, there's guys on horseback fighting the vampires. Then it's like guys with flamethrowers in World War One, gun batteries.
The World War, it literally looks like, you know, the World War One trench scenes where you see the Germans come through with the flamethrowers.
Yeah.
And then get decimated.
That is a really gory animated scene at the start.
Yeah, but it's it really hammers home just how, because these aren't your atypical like Anne Rice, Bram Stoker vampires.
No,
these are like separate evolution. They have no eyes. They have big pointy teeth, like and very chompy, and the big claws with the 3 fingers, which I love. And they're very bouncy, and they kind of have the sugar glider skin flaps. Like they can glide quite gracefully.
Yeah, no, they are supposed to be like, I'm assuming, a completely separate species that just has a humanoid form and, you know, can
and they operate in a hive system with a queen as well, which is interesting. And they build their nest. There's a really nice point where they're going into like the reservations because they've rounded them all up. How?
Well, they killed most of them, and then whatever they found, they were like, well,
we're gonna just lock you in underground.
It is interesting that they
didn't exterminate them.
Yeah, because there's that line from, I think it's from Karl Urban's Black Hat, where he says the church teaches that eyes are the window to the soul, and because vampires don't have eyes, they have no soul. So it's like, why would they choose to say something that it's like all of a sudden they became conservationists? But yeah, sorry, the goo.
The weird goo that they excrete to build their hives.
Yeah, when they're going into the reservation.
Yeah.
It's on the Hicks, Cam Gigante's character.
Yeah, because it's on like everything.
He's like, what the fuck is this? And Priest, because he's just Priest. Paul Bettany is Priest and Maggie Q is Priestess, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he just kind of touches it and is like, ugh, because he's never been in a reservation. He wasn't old enough to fight in the war.
No, like,
so
he's supposed to be
like vampires
19 or 20,
are, vampires are not, Cam Gigante is the eternal, like, young adult. So he's never been in the reservation either. So he's not aware of these things. Like they've all heard stories, but it's like when, you know, you would hear, I know for like my father, for example, was born at the end of World War II.
Yeah.
But he grew up hearing like stories from the war, but would never experienced and it's like a weird fear nostalgia.
Yeah, it's this second-hand experience, so it seems like a much more real thing. But at the same time,
because he grew up in the aftermath of it, so this is kind of where he's
grown up in the shadow of it. And
but he's out in like the wastelands, like which is proper frontiery, like dusters. They only like they have.
Well, I like as well when.
It's like snake oil salesman because good old Brad Dourif was in this.
It's the Old West, but it's like a new Old West because when
they're
see
using the industrial
Stephen Moyer,
elements,
he's testing the soil and he says something about it still being irradiated.
Yeah, because they nuked the fucking.
The assumption
I think they ended up nuking them at some point.
Yeah, nuking the vampires, and now they're having to go out with the vampires in reservations. Now they're safely able to go out from the cities and try and reclaim the land, and that's where you get these little outposts and these towns like Jericho.
But they're basically on their own as well. Like they know the church isn't going to help them. So this is, you know, the pioneers heading out west. Only, you know, there's no mass slaughter. Well, there has been a mass genocide, but
not of humans.
No, it was a little bit more equal this way.
But there's lots of little things that just do help set up the world, from the way Hicks is kind of aware of it all and is fascinated by the priest, and like, you know.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, Lucy used to talk. I just love the fact that they called her Lucy.
Oh yeah. Well,
Red-headed Lucy. Lucy!
Yep.
This slut.
Yeah, you're good. And then there's other nice little bits of, I really like the confessionals.
Oh, the automated confessionals.
Yeah, there's like rows of guards sending people up like confessional booth number 6 is free.
It's if 1984 wasn't like a shadowy government, but the church, which it may as well be, because is there much of a difference when they're at that power level? You've
also got this weird kind of like Mission Impossible getting your mission through the phone booth thing, because he checks in with the clear when the priest goes in, he checks in with the Monsignors. I can't remember which. There's Christopher Plummer's character, he's Monsignor Aurelius, and then there's the other Monsignor who I can't remember, who's that bit more sympathetic to the priest
his
and
cause.
his cause.
He's a little bit more understanding of everything. I also like the fact that they mention it actually in the special features about the world using this kind of decaying technology, that every time they've had one of these massive attack events, which I'm assuming are kind of like a wraith attack. In my head, these vampires are like the wraiths. They live in their little hives, and they let the human population get to a nice size, and then
they go out again.
And then they go out and they harvest. Yeah. So every time that's happened, they're getting back to a level of technology just below the one they had been at before. Like they're actually regressing.
Yeah.
So you've got things like the voice recognition on the modulators.
Yeah.
In the confessional booths, but the tech is decaying and starting to fade out.
Yeah, and they're using...
like there's screens everywhere, but they don't have phones or shit.
Yeah, and when they're in Jericho later on, it very much looks like a West Town just at a cursory glance. But then you start to see all these like
ventilation
pipes
shafts,
and vents and like solar panels and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're using this weird mix of like out in the frontier, they're using solar.
Yeah.
And it's all...
It's a weird Western futuristic... I'm sure there's a term for it, like steampunk has a term and cyberpunk has a term. There probably is a term for it. But
like the Western... industrial Western, where it is more of the mix of it. I also like the fact that everything outside of the cities is bright and orange and rich, and like it is these immense flat plains with no life on them, but it's still like a really bold colour.
Yeah.
The reds. And then in the cities, it's all gloom and blue.
Yeah.
It's the proper futuristic. If you want to make it look futuristic, you just make everything dark and blue.
Well, also that the cities are where the church have most control.
But it's so dark.
But are keeping people in the dark as well, because they don't want anybody to know about the potential vampire threat outside. But
being a huge plot point that there's no sunlight in the cities. They've made it like the sunlight is their only safety.
Yeah, and they have this massive cloud of smog above the city.
You get the nice moment where he leaves it.
Yeah. No, there's some really nice like wide shots when they're travelling through the desert, and you've got those big giant
statues.
The giant pillars, statues.
Yeah. And then all the rock formations where they've clearly nuked the fuck out of most of the planet by the looks of it.
Yeah, and then
because even the big, when they're riding through what looks like an old modern city, so it's skyscrapers, that's got that blowout look to it where the damage is on the leading edge of the buildings. So it does look like they just nuked everywhere.
Yeah. No, and I do like there's a lot of stuff like that that's just implied but never said. Like they don't say that they nuked the vampires ever. They just say that the priests turned the tide of the war.
Yeah, but you have
priests don't use
the moment with Owen where he's like, all the radiation in the soil is nearly down, so we'll be able to plant soon.
Yeah, that's it. That's and the buildings are the only implications you get that there was a nuke. I like the way they set up the reveal for Priest.
Yeah.
Skip forward about 20 seconds if you haven't seen it. You don't want to spoil it, because the niece they go to save is actually the priest's daughter.
Yeah, he had to give her up to choose his sacrifice.
And yeah, I like that they have these little hints of it throughout, where you have, is it Owen is
Stephen Moyer.
Yeah, he's saying...
taking a break from playing a vampire to be eaten by a vampire.
Yep. When he's saying to Priest, he's like, oh, Shannon thought you'd come back.
Yeah, after the war she thought you'd come back.
And he has some line about like, I always wished she could get over you or get past you or something like that. But it's not clear. It's like, oh, were they once a thing, or were they brother and sister and she just never got over her brother having to leave? And then you find out a little bit later, no, actually,
yeah, they were.
He was together. Much older when he left.
Yeah, older than
so that's why his sacrifice was much harder.
Children.
Yeah, because Maggie Q's priestess said that she said, I was a child when I was taken. He was nearly your age, talking to Hicks.
And then later on, when she says, when she died, I thought you would be...
Yeah, it would do. Before the big reveal, she says, oh, I thought when Shannon died, you might be able to finally let go.
No, she doesn't say that when she died.
Yeah, she says when she died. And then you finally get the reveal at the end, just before the kind of final fight on the train. It's like, oh yeah, all that was it's nicely set up throughout. Yeah. And again, nothing is ever like explicitly said with those things or like with the power of the church being so there. Yeah, it's there
and accepted. I always enjoy Brad Dourif no matter where he shows up, and then this he's much fun
as a little snake oil salesman,
but he does it so well.
Brad Dourif is just fucking
he's
fantastic.
So good at these Weasley little characters.
They did want to have him show up in the second half of the film as a human vampire hybrid. But he wasn't around for long enough, so they had to kind of kill him off.
Yeah.
But they have that in the trivia.
But a little bit of retribution for Karl Urban.
Yeah, Karl Urban held back from killing him in Lord of the Rings. And then gets to kill him in this. And nearly break Paul Bettany's hand, apparently.
Yeah, stomped on it
in the train scene. And just thought, wow, that's some really good acting of Paul Bettany screaming here.
And then everybody on set started running towards him. And he was like, oh, shit, sorry.
Yeah, nearly broke his hand. But apart from the world building, what other things do we really like about this?
I like the whole thing about the priests. That it's implied that there's something genetic going on that, with the addition of training, has made them these super lethal fighting machines.
They only say in the animated,
especially with the addition of Black Hat and what happens with him.
Yeah,
and you're kind of going, ooh, is this the next stage in evolution?
Yeah, because
are they developing? They're evolving to fight this threat.
Yeah, in the animated opening, they say the priests appeared, and they refer to them as superpowered, or
they have the power of God on their side.
No, they definitely mention them having like heightened abilities or superpowers. You see they're demonstrated in the animated bit as well to be like way more effective than your normal human, because the vampires are just destroying any person that gets near them.
They just run through people.
And then when you see a priest, it's like what the vampires are doing to the people, the priests are doing to the vampires. And the only other thing apart from that is when Magna Q's priestess says to Hicks, his talents manifested when later. He was your age.
Yeah, his talents manifested much later.
And there's no real explanation there. So yeah, is it that's probably why they are priests, because we can't explain it. It was God helping us fight the vampires.
Yeah, and they seem to have had no choice, because she does say, when the church came for me.
Oh yeah.
And when the church took him.
Yeah, and that's why he's sacrificed.
A lot of the language is, it's not a sacrifice. These people were literally kidnapped. And it's been played off as being a sacrifice for the greater good.
Yeah, they're going to be trained and be glorious warriors for the...
Who are then shunned.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
Oh, yeah. Why would you want to treat your vets but good when they come back from war, like...
Especially when they can't get a job because they have no applicable skills, because all you've done is teach them how to kill.
Yeah, basically.
And then you won't let them leave to go and live their lives either. They have to be monitored.
No, and then
because obviously you want to keep an eye on your easily trained individuals.
The only time you do let them kill is when you send them out to capture one of their own.
Yeah. Who you won't let go save his niece and be like, possibly vampires, and they're like, no, there's not, no, and if you leave, you'll be excommunicated, so leave anyway. What are they going to do? They're going to excommunicate you. Ooh, you can't go back to the city. Fuck them.
Well, I think as well...
I think they might excommunicate you into the sun in this world.
Well, but also, it's another one of those things that's implied but not said of, that's how strong of a sway the church have, that excommunication is this...
You're not under the umbrella, you're not under the protection of the church.
So I like that. I do like the kind of Judge Dreddiness of it as well.
Yeah, it does very much have like mega city, like from the first Judge Dredd movie, when they're doing the flyover of Mega City 1 up to the Hall of Justice.
Not just how it looks, but instead of the Hall of Justice, you have the Monsignors.
Yeah.
You have
arseholes in fancy costumes abusing their power.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. They try and stop the main character from going on some quest.
Yeah, because if they just let him go,
he ends up going off out into...
They would have been like, yeah, whatever, he's probably just going to die out there, fuck it, nobody will care.
And he ends up going off out into a wasteland.
Yeah.
And coming back at the end to expose their corruption. And I was like, as we were watching it, we were saying it.
Yeah, it is very much...
The IMDb trivia mentions it as well, and it goes through, it's like, this film shares a lot of, plot elements with Judge Dredd. Lists them all, and then at the very end says... Karl Urban played Judge Dredd in Dredd 2012. It's like, but everything you listed was from the other Judge Dredd film. IMDb trivia.
No, I do enjoy the whole you have this samurai warrior with this western dude, because that would have happened because samurai were still about when the fax machine was invented. Yeah,
there's that whole thing about how a samurai could have sent a fax to Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
it
was playing Nintendo because it was the playing card game. The playing card company itself had already, I think, been established as well.
I think it might be in that same way
because we have that weird historical separation where we think that things on one part of the world happen like way later than in other parts
of the world.
Well,
we don't connect them as being concurrent. Like,
so I'm always like, yeah, it fits. I'm down for that. Yeah, drive me closer in my tank so I can hit them with my sword.
Yeah, no, the whole future Western thing is
I
pretty
really
cool
enjoy that. I really, really like that because the town, when they get to Jericho, and the whole shit show of Jericho, was so much fun. Also, why is your man Indiana Jones and the fuck out of that? We all know what happened to your man.
Which?
When he shows up and he's like, I've got blades, let me do all this cool shit, and on, you know, instead of just shooting him, he rips his heart out. Yeah,
no, that was bound to happen.
And I was like, oh, dude, really? Why? Why did you do all this shit? You know who he is. He knows what you can do.
Well, they don't know what he can do. And I don't think they're supposed to know who Black Hat is.
I think there is when he looks at them and you get that, they kind of get this moment of recognition.
And then he does say brothers. Yeah. But the Queen, actually,
you
the Queen
fell.
Vampire is
You
cool.
let go.
The Queen Vampire is very cool. She's only in it for a tiny bit. She's not really
I really
important,
like her. I like her big pointy head.
She looks cool with her big wings and everything.
But it does almost look like she's got... You know the way Tuatara, you can see through the membrane to the eye on the top of their head when they're babies?
Yes.
And it's photosensitive?
Yeah.
That's what her eyes look like.
Yeah, where the other vampires don't look like have any eyes. She looks like there is just
it looks
skin
like there's something
over.
Under there, but that it's focusing on it, and I really, really appreciate that detail.
But just that aspect of the vampires where you have your base vampires. The only other ones we see the Queen, and then you see a Hive Protector.
Oh, the Hive Guardian! He's the biggest, cuddliest boy I've ever seen. Oh, I want to take him home.
Yeah, okay. Because he's about fucking 5 times the size of a normal vampire and big and bulky as fuck.
But he just bounds her. I know he's trying to protect the place, but he has like big, burly, stupid guard dog
energy about him.
Yeah,
if you say so.
Where if you just gave him like a big steak, he'd be your friend. He's like what he really has. He comes across as that type of thing. He just goes, oh, you're a friend. Oh, okay. But at this point, he's already eaten your leg. So,
if you say so.
Yeah, big junky Rufus.
Well, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I just don't get that. I don't find everything as cute as you do.
I do.
But I like that you have this.
I think there's something we were watching the other day, and I was like, "That is not cute," and you were like, "Damn."
You finally found something you don't think is cute. But no, I like that you seem to have different types of vampires in the Hive, like you would in ants. You have your different levels. You have your soldier ants, and also with some ant colonies, the queens are the only ones that can fly because when it's time to bugger off and start a new colony, they need to be able to.
And they'll go around and like bite the wings off other ones as well.
Yeah, but no, I just like that they gave the Queen this more. It was like, okay, well, they live in a hive.
And she's a little bit more upright. She's bigger than them. She's a slightly
good bit bigger.
Yeah, which tends to track. The Queens tend to be bigger. She's a slightly different colour. Her head shape is different. And she has more wing membrane as well. And then the claws are quite different because you get that nice close-up where she slits down through the vein because it seems to be in this, if you get bitten by a vampire and they don't eat you, they can turn you into a familiar, and I really like the familiars.
The familiars are cool, yes, I like them. They're very kind of, is it the War Boys in Mad Max Fury Road?
If you took the War Boys and smushed it together with Nosferatu, that's the kind of look they've got, that like, I'm already dead, but I've also got kind of pointy teeth. Like the super blue eyes with the washout and the slightly pointy ears give them that real, and the long fingers so you can do the shadow up the stairs.
The familiars look cool, but the whole thing around infection is a bit fudgy because it's like if you get like
because some of them are like your man who's down in the catacomb comes across like a proper Renfield.
Yeah, because he's like, don't tell Master can't know,
ticks and everything going on. But there's other ones that seem to be competent enough, like the one who's like, your kind is not welcome here. Your man who's
chopping the chicken
heads off the chickens to drain the blood. He seems to be like fairly compos mentis and in charge almost.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's not so much how the familiars work; it's how the infection thing works because they mention infection once or twice, and Priest says of his niece that if she's infected, I'll kill her. But like, if the infection is what makes the familiars, they don't look sick.
No, it seems to be like something that's
They don't seem to be like evil or a threat.
They're them, but seem to have some extra power.
From how we've seen the vampires act in the animated intro and what we saw throughout the film, they very much seem to just tear people apart. It's not really... once or twice you see them drinking from necks, but most of the time it's just pure violence.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're not really leaving much room for infection there.
Yeah, it's going to be like, are you scratched by one and, you know, it didn't entirely take your face off?
I do like that they give the clarification with Black Hat. And again, spoilers, so jump forward about 20 or 30 seconds.
Oh, that he's actually fed
that he's a human
blood.
Vampire hybrid.
And he's fed the Queen's blood. And there's something different about him.
Yeah, it's not just the... Yeah, so...
And it's something to do with him being a priest.
Again, implied but not said.
Implied that there's something different about him being a priest. Fed the blood. That he's been able to become more of a traditional vampire.
But yeah, I like that.
But also go out in the sun.
Yes, but I like that you have that distinction of...
Well, maybe she's been experimenting on familiars and being like, well, biting them ain't doing fucking jack shit. Let's try and feed this to one of them.
And maybe it's something they would have fleshed out on in a sequel. Yeah. But it's just, these are those are where I have some questions where I'm like with the nuke thing, I'm fine. It's implied enough that I can be like, yeah, that's fine. And I don't have questions, but I still have questions around the infection and stuff like that. And that's where I wish they'd kind of fleshed things out a bit more. And that's why the shortness of the film.
Yeah, because it's like, here's this world, and immediately you get the attack and the Lily, or no, it's Lily Collins is the actress.
Yeah, Lucy.
Lucy getting taken. Amek doesn't even get to die on screen.
No.
Which is a shame because I love her. She's brilliant in everything she's in.
I've not seen her in much myself, actually.
No, but she's Betty's mom in Riverdale. She was in Gossip Girl as the Countess who was having it off with the stepson that Blair was dating.
Shows you know I haven't watched, right?
I know. But showing up out. She was in Twin Peaks.
Alright, okay.
But yeah, she doesn't get a lot in this, which is a shame because she's also really nice to look at.
She is easy on the eyes.
She is. She's really like an exotic looking face.
Yeah. Mind you, so is Maggie Q.
Yeah.
But
I actually felt really bad for Maggie Q because when they filmed this, it was like they had to go out to these massive plains and it was about 120 degrees and she's in a lot of leather and like...
She's the one who has to do all she has that big fight scene with all the guys on the bikes.
Yeah.
It probably would have taken ages to film, whereas Paul Bettany and Carla Ban were just probably standing on a train somewhere.
They filmed that out there as well.
Oh, did they film that out there as well?
Yeah, they basically built all the sets kind of in the same location. So you have the house.
Yeah.
And then like they had the train
Jericho's like right next door and then the train line.
No, Jericho was a real place that they redressed.
Oh, cool.
It's a real town and they redressed part of it. It's a proper old frontier town that's like now a historic town. So they did have to put a lot of it back, which is
1864.
But they did. She had to do a lot of that, and whereas Paul Bettany's character is in more Shaolin monk garb.
Yeah,
she's in leather. It's like a leather vest, and she's in a kind of more modern take on it, while it's still having like the big hood.
Yeah,
because all of their outfits are slightly different.
They're all slightly different. Yeah.
So I felt really bad for her because that had to not be fun to do. At all, but in leather, because leather don't breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
and she was saying the boys looked better the dirtier they got.
Well, particularly Hicks. Because Hicks has that atypical
he's got the vest,
sheriff with the long duster coat and
the waistcoat with the shirt and the neckerchief.
Yeah, and the bullet.
And the
bullet chain.
I really want his pants because the pants just look comfy as fuck.
Yeah, the guys all had comfy, rugged gear.
She's got heels on.
Poor Maggie Q.
They give fucking heels. I know they're westerns. Like it looks like a western boot that she is wearing, but that's still a heel.
Yeah, yeah. But no, the pacing on it, despite the shortness of the film, the pacing is really good.
Oh, it goes
up until the end because it's just like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was going to be another kind of showdown. It's like
it just ends.
Yeah, and not in an unsatisfying way, just way quicker than you expected to. Because I think because it is so short, it's like an hour passes and they're having kind of roughly an hour. They're having their big fight scene on top of the train.
Yeah, and then you're like left.
Not even. There's only like 12 to 14 minutes left before credits, and it's like, all right, I'm a little bit, yeah.
Shit.
Whereas Daybreakers and Legion just wrapped up too quickly.
Yeah, it
was like they tried to rush the ending. This ending doesn't feel rushed. It's just, oh shit, it's over already.
Yeah, it's like the reverse of all the films that you wish would end. That never seem to. This you go, oh, that can't be. Oh fuck, that's it. What?
Yeah, why can't we cut some time off those shitty, stupidly long films and give some to this? Because I don't think it would have made it much more amazing or anything.
No, but I
would have
liked to have maybe seen people from the city, like
a little bit more in the city,
a little bit more around
especially
affection. After his announcement at the end. I would like to have seen like maybe some turmoil in the city
and
surrounding that.
A little bit more, doesn't even have to be flashbacks, but a little bit more detail about what went on during the war with the priests, like kind of how they turned the tide of war, how they got the vampires into the reservations. Because the reservations are cool as well with their big steel crypty things.
Yeah.
And then when they're in the hive, well, it's not when they're in the hive, but I assume that's how they would be in the hive when they're in their like little hangy upside down sacks. The vampires.
No, I think they're the eggs.
They're the ones that are being.
They're the ones that are being like created.
Yeah.
That's because when they go into the hive and they look up and they're shit,
they're
bred a new army, so they've just taken them.
Yeah, but the little steel crypts down in the reservations.
Yeah, I just like your man with his hands through the hole in the door. Just going, and he's fucking nuts. Because that's the thing they were saying. It's like drifters and like mentally unstable people
that want to be familiars. Yeah. So again, I don't think the infection makes them that way. They're already that way.
Yeah, they're already nuts. Like, to want to go and do this, to offer yourself up.
Yeah. And it's illegal as well.
Yeah,
they say that I thought familiars were illegal, and
he's
like,
well,
when it's by their choice, they don't mind.
Yeah, as long as they don't bother anybody. Like, what are they going to do? It takes more effort to keep them out. Like, they want to be here, and they're not hurting anybody.
Nobody seems
a whole load of chickens
and all the guards.
Yeah,
all
the guards.
No, they don't seem particularly upset about the fact that all the guards are dead.
No,
not the familiars. Obviously, they wouldn't care. Yeah. Hicks and the priest. Is there any things we didn't like about it? Like, actually didn't like. The infection thing, I just wish was fleshed out a bit more.
I have issues with set dressing and things like that, but also taking into account that some sets had to be restored to previous. I have an issue with Jericho.
Jericho doesn't look like a town that's been ravaged.
Yeah. But that was an actual location that had to be restored, so I can. But at the same time, there's a lot you can do by putting up fake fronts on things.
Yeah.
That meant you could like fling blood all over them.
Yeah.
Because when they're coming into Jericho and you get this Black Hat introduction where they're playing the music and shit's blowing up in time to it, and he turns and looks, and there's all like ash in the air floating down because you see it sparking off things. And then when they arrive in the next day, the place just looks abandoned. It's like, where's the scorch marks? Where's the blood? And then you get the drag marks in the building, but...
Yeah, there is some evidence, but out on the street where you've seen all that carnage the night before.
Yeah, it's kind of... Like, I appreciated that in 30 Days a Night, that the town... Like, and you get, as the fresh snow keeps falling in the town, you get to see it, like, kind of cover up and fade and turn to that brown colour. And whereas this just looked too clean.
Yeah, no,
that's
I get you for that.
That's one of the only things that really bothered me, because I was like, the town doesn't look... They're like, oh, God, we're too late. There's a burnt-out car.
Yeah.
Or a burnt out something.
Yeah.
That could have been there already. You don't know what Jericho's like. Have you been there before? Like, where it didn't have the impact of this place just got fucking shit bombed.
Yeah. For me, the thing we talked about
also
at the very start.
The old train conductor guy, I did like him. I felt quite bad for him.
I mentioned at the very start the main thing I didn't like, which is that stupid fucking rock throwing, using them as stepping stones. It's just stupid. And a little silly thing rather than anything big is the train very much moves at the speed of plot.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's bombing it along and there's people hanging onto the side and it's like, oh no, they can't fall off, they'll get hurt. And at another point a character gets kicked out through the window and just kind of falls and rolls, and you can see the train's not moving fast at all. And I know trains don't always move at the same speed in the real world, but it's quite obvious when you're watching the film. It's like,
Yeah, suddenly the train is... Oh, no. The worst bit about all of that. Hicks gets on
Hicks getting on the train, yeah.
That one, you're like, ooh, yeah, maybe you should have just cut that one a wee bit different.
The bikes are cool, though.
The bikes are so fun.
The bikes are cool.
And they answer, like, so you're watching for a bit and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, bikes with mad nitro that can go like 300 kilometers an hour. Also, ow.
But they look more technologically advanced than anything else we've seen.
And then
how do they power those?
We were watching going, hang on, there's not like gas stations or anything like the city is fucking coal powered. Yeah. And then you get to see him. He pops out the little. They take a break and charge solar power the bikes, and it's
they make a point later on, or it might even be in that scene, or they're like, "Oh, the bikes are nearly charged." Or
because I'll go and charge the bikes. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yep, answer that question. Thank you."
And I even like the addition of Brad Dourif, not just because he's there, but as the snake oil salesman, it shows
There's still people out there taking advantage.
Well, not just that, but that in the city, they're all like, oh, we're safe in here and the church is protecting us. But out, and there's no vampires. But then out in the frontier, everybody is like, oh no, they're still fucking vampires. Yeah. And we need shit to protect us from vampires.
And like, it's not just the vampires we need to worry about out in the frontier, it's like other people too.
Oh yeah, they mentioned bandits and stuff like that.
But you see like the godless heathens.
But the ones out in the frontier, no. They're a bit more realistic about things, and I like. It's only a short scene,
they're a bit more battle hardened.
It would be very
hard as well to be a brothel madam in that frontier.
I'd say so.
A soiled dove.
A what?
A soiled dove.
No, like what?
That's the term. That was a term that a lot of the women were referred to as.
Prostitutes or brothel madams specifically?
Prostitutes, soiled doves. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like the type of society that would allow prostitutes. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but not most of them didn't. But realised it was a necessity to keep the men who had come out without their women folk happy.
Well, yeah.
Less fighty.
They don't. They don't really go into it.
No. I just imagine, like, given the size of the town and the fact that they seem to have, like, coal mines and things like that, there's a whole, underground...
I'm sure there are.
Because I'm pretty sure gambling isn't legal there either. They seem to have, like, made everything fun illegal.
And while I can see why this film didn't get a sequel, I would have liked a sequel just to get the world a bit more fleshed out, or even to get Caliban back as a bad guy, because he is fun as a bad guy, and he definitely had fun doing this.
Oh yeah, he gets to be like over the top and a little bit demented.
Yeah, he's not the full Dolph from last week.
No.
Or Frank Langella either, but he's definitely having fun.
He's tiptoeing around kind of Tom Cruise, Lestat, mischievously evil.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have a good time doing this anyway. Have you ever had duck? It's an exotic delight.
And what is his line about... if you're not sinning, you're not having fun, or something like that. Yeah. No, so,
and it's like, yeah, you're kind of right there, buddy.
So yeah, he definitely had fun as Black Hat.
Yeah, he's very much the tempter.
Anything else that you particularly liked about it? The animated intro, I really liked the animated intro.
Really liked that, because I liked the fact that a lot of the animation was like old tapestry style.
Mm-hmm.
That animated sequence
nice,
is
definitely really nice compromise for the fact that they didn't get to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, no, but it is. I think it also brings the point across of just how lethal the vampires are successfully, because it isn't, the humans could develop all this technology, but there was just the immensity,
the sheer force of them, and just ferocity of them.
Yeah, and the fact that they just do not care. They would just crash through you and keep on going.
Plus, it allowed them,
have no sense of self-preservation because they're drones.
Yeah, and I think it allowed them then they didn't have to overuse the vampires throughout the rest of the film.
No,
they could use them a bit more sparingly and a bit more like movie monstery, because you've seen how devastating they can be at the start in the animated form. So you don't need to have them on screen ripping off limbs and stuff like that. You can start showing the aftermaths and do quick cuts.
Yeah, because you don't even see the initial attack on the homestead. You hear it.
You hear it all.
And Jesus, the noises they make are not right.
And then when they're in the reservation and they're fighting them, they're all over the place. They're really quick and it's hard to kind of track them.
The second the sun comes down and the vault flings open.
Yeah.
But the shrieking noises that they make.
The vampires are great as well. It's one of my highlights.
The Tippett Studios.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That weird shrieking, just, it's piercing into like baby's wail.
Yeah.
It hits that part of your brain. It's got that like nails on a chalkboard. It has that quality to it that just makes you go, ooh.
Yeah.
Which presumably as well was
what they were going for.
Yeah, that it's a noise that paralyzes you.
Yeah, no, really, really like the vampires, really like the world of it. It's not too deep. It's a really pretty film. Yeah. It's just good fun.
I just like, it's a standalone story in a world that you could easily see revisited.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Paul Bettany and Carl Urban just get to beat the absolute shite out of each other at the end. Oh no, that whole bit where he climbs up on the roof of the train car and Black Hat is just stood there. Like, hello.
It's, we didn't really talk too much about the action in it. The action in it was really good as well.
Yeah.
Some really well shot fight scenes, some nice...
There's not a grotesque overuse of slow motion.
No, it's very little slow motion.
Yeah, but when they do use it, it's so pretty when she's got the meteor hammer.
Yeah.
And she wraps it around the familiar. But the way, a lot of it you can see is comic book inspired in the way a lot of the scenes are framed. Like that one in particular with the meteor hammer where she's standing in the pose completely still. And it's just raining gore. Or again, where he's coming through the carnage in Jericho.
Yeah.
All in his silhouette, but then just turns around and you get across the eyes.
Apparently the author of the comic, she did quite enjoy the film. She loved the film and praised it. She's the only negative thing she had to say about it.
None of it was their story.
Well, no, like, she was happy enough with the fact that it was supposed to be set in the far future of her world.
Yeah.
She just said that it didn't really get any of the kind of philosophical themes that she had worked into her work. But then they only had 72 minutes, apparently.
Yeah. No, but I do appreciate that they've taken the time to go in with the visuals and make... There's nods to graphic novel style framing in it.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, it is a comic book movie.
Oh yeah,
but
like, because you've got these insanely, like when they're doing the riding montage and the landscape behind them is changing, and there are these two tiny little specks moving across the screen with the immense, like the big monolith kind of rocks, or when they're coming up to the massive hive.
Yeah.
And they're riding along this gorge as well. So this landscape is just completely ravaged. And it's like, how the fuck do you navigate anywhere? Because everything, it's like death, rocks, death.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like a very hospitable landscape at all. Mind you, neither do the cities.
No. But I was going to say, at least there's no local wildlife, but there are. It's vampires.
It's vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've probably eaten everything else.
Yeah, because you don't really see any, like, wildlife or anything like that. Not even, like,
yeah, they either got eaten or nuked.
Yeah, there's not even, like, lizards.
No. There's
or spiders.
I don't think you see any other animals.
No.
But it's really, really fun. I would highly recommend it, as we normally do.
What do they eat? Well, we know there's chickens.
There are. So, yes, we see chickens
That's
getting their heads chopped off. I mean, I assume there is other things. It's just, but yeah, what's the point in showing, if you're trying to get across a desert wasteland, you're not going to show it as full of animals and life. But no, I think that about wraps it up for Priest, unless there's anything else.
No, it's well fun.
Yeah, no, really, really fun. More fun than I think I remembered. In my head, it was the weakest of the three.
No, I think it's probably...
I actually think Legion is probably the weakest of the three.
Yeah.
I still think Daybreakers is my favourite of the three.
No, I like this because the priest character himself is just completely matter of fact.
Yeah.
He's here to do a fucking job. He's going to get that job. Whereas in Legion, I think they're trying to cajole everybody else into working with him. Whereas in this, he's like, nope, fuck you, I'm going to do it myself.
I don't care. You can join me if you want, but only if you're capable of joining me. Otherwise, you're just going to slow me down.
Hicks is like, oh, I'll shoot you dead right here. And he's like, well, better to be shot by you here than, die on the train or whatever.
Or face what's ahead.
Die on the train. Like, he's very matter of fact in this and just very, I don't give a shit. I'm going over here. You want to come with me? You can come with me. Yeah. But that's on you.
I know I said earlier that the characters weren't particularly deep in this, but they're as deep as they need to be.
Yeah. There's a couple of really nice little interactions. There's a couple of nice little conversations between Hicks and the priest that just kind of, everybody's got their own shit going on.
Oh, they're not devoid of characterization at all. I wasn't trying to say that. Just that he did, where Legion was character focused and in this small confined area.
Yeah, this is massive.
Priest is less character focused and much more about the world. And as ever on Monorants, we love a good world. And this is a really fun, constructed world. The vampires are great fun.
I'd be dead in a heartbeat in this world. In cases of worlds where I'd survive, I would not survive out in the frontier.
No, you wouldn't even survive in the cities because they're...
Oh God, no! I wouldn't survive in the cities. I'd have been put into some sort of re-education facility pretty much immediately.
Yep. No, you'd have been turned into Soylent Green. That's what they feed people in the cities.
They wouldn't even have fed me to people. I'm not fucking bitter.
But yeah, no, that is Priest. It's a short, fun film, and go and watch it. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. If you haven't watched it in a while.
It's really, really enjoyable. And honestly, the Hive Guardian fight scene is so fun. Everything in the hive where they're running around. And
except for the stepping stones.
No, stepping stones bullshit, but everything in the hive. But when he slices it, that whole thing where it inhales and then it exhales and it all goes blah, everywhere.
Yep.
Lovely.
But no, definitely go and check it out. As for us, we will be back next week. But in the meantime, if you want, you can head and check out some of our previous episodes or our other podcast, Mono Rants the Boys. Or you can come and chat with us on Twitter at RantsMono, on Instagram at monorants_the_boys, on Threads whenever they let us go on Threads because we live in the EU.
Yay!
And you can send your own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.